All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to get super clear on what ChatGPT can really do, and maybe more importantly, what it can't. By the end of this, you'll have a playbook for using it in a way that's both powerful and safe, so you can cut through all the noise. So let's do this. You know, it all boils down to this one single uncomfortable question that's probably nagging you every time you use it. It writes your emails, your code, your content, and it sounds so sure of itself. But you can't help but wonder, can I actually trust this? Because what's more dangerous, a tool that's wrong or a person who just blindly believes it?
You see, here's the thing. Most people get stuck in one of two camps, and both of them are losing strategies. On one hand, you have the magic genie believers who think it can do anything, which leads to some pretty big mistakes. And on the other hand, you have folks who dismiss it as a useless toy, which means they're leaving a massive competitive advantage on the table.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start by shattering the ChatGPT illusion. Then we'll dive into what it really is, just a pattern generator. From there, we'll redefine its role as your drafting partner, not your thinker. After that, we'll get into the fun stuff, the difference between expert plays and beginner mistakes. And we'll wrap it all up by giving you your own strategic workflow.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the ChatGPT illusion. Honestly, this is the biggest misunderstanding out there, and it's the reason so many people get tripped up. It's all about that confident, almost arrogant tone it uses, and why that tone can be so incredibly misleading.
To really get why this illusion is so powerful, we gotta look under the hood. The best way to think about ChatGPT is not as a brain, but as a super fast sentence finisher. It is not thinking at all. It's just playing a high-speed prediction game, figuring out the most likely word to come next based on the mountains of text it was trained on.
So here's how that prediction game works basically. First, it reads what you wrote to get the context. Then it just runs the numbers to predict the most probable next word. And then it just does that again and again and again, word by word, until you have a full sentence or paragraph. It's all about probability, not knowledge.
And this slide, this is everything. You have to get this distinction. It is not a live fact-checking knowledge database. It's not out there Googling things for you. What it is a pattern generator. It's just repeating and remixing patterns it saw in its training data. And that is the exact reason it can give you a completely wrong answer with total confidence.
So that brings us to Section 3, and a huge mental shift you need to make. Think of it as your drafting partner, not your thinker. Now that we know it's just a pattern machine, we can put it in its proper place. It's an incredible assistant for drafting, but it's a terrible replacement for your own brain.
And this table just lays it all out so clearly. On the one hand, its strengths are amazing, right? Drafting, explaining, rewriting, it's a rock star at those pattern-based tasks. But, and this is a huge but, you have to respect the hard truths. It hallucinates, which is a nice way of saying it literally invents facts. Its info can be old. And it has zero lived experience, zero critical thinking. It doesn't know what it's like to build a team or close a deal.
So what's the golden rule? It's this. Treat every single thing it gives you as a first draft. Never, ever the final product. Your job, the uniquely human job, is to be the editor-in-chief. You have to verify, you have to refine, and most importantly, you have to add your real-world judgment.
Okay, now for the really good stuff. Section 4, expert plays versus beginner mistakes. This is where we break down the exact difference between how amateurs use this tool and how the pros use it to get a serious edge.
The number one beginner mistake? A lazy, vague prompt. We've all done it. Write a blog on productivity, and you get back mush. Generic, useless mush. The expert play is something called context engineering. They give the AI a detailed job description. Here's my goal, my audience, the style I want, and the things you should avoid. The result? Infinitely better.
The next big mistake is treating it like a vending machine. You put in one prompt, take the first answer, and walk away. Experts never do this. They treat it like a conversation, a brainstorming partner. They iterate. They'll ask for 5 different outlines, pick the best one, and then have it expand each section one by one. It gives them way more control and way higher quality.
And this right here, this is the secret sauce. Experts aren't trying to outsource their thinking. They are automating the grunt work, the low-value drafting, so they can free up their own brain power for high-value work like strategy, editing, and adding unique insights. It's not about replacing themselves, it's about multiplying their impact.
So now that we've got the mindset down, let's get into our final section, your strategic workflow. This isn't just theory. This is a concrete, actionable system you can start using today for smarter and much safer results.
Here it is, your 4-step playbook. Step 1 is the job description prompt. Be the boss, give it clear instructions. Step 2 is the 3-phase workflow. Explore ideas first, then structure the best one, and only then execute the actual draft. Step 3, the verification protocol, is non-negotiable. If it's an important fact, you check it. And finally, Step 4, the human layer. This is where you inject your own voice, your stories, your data. This is what makes it yours.
And if you think you can skip these steps, think again. The consequences are real. We're talking about the student who gets busted for plagiarism because of AI errors, the content creator who loses their audience because their scripts sound generic and soulless, the manager who sends a robotic-sounding proposal and loses a huge client. This stuff is happening every single day.
The pattern here could not be more clear. In every single case where a human expert combined their brain with AI as a tool, the result was powerful. And in every single case where someone tried to use AI to completely replace their brain, the result was risk, failure, and a total loss of trust.
Okay, this brings us to the single most important thing I want you to walk away with today. If you remember just one concept, make it this one. It's a new mental model, a simple checklist I call the 3-question truth filter.
Before you copy and paste anything, you have to run it through this filter. Question 1. How high stakes is this? Is it about health, money, your career? If the answer is yes, you have to verify it with a real source. Period. Question 2. How verified is this? Did I actually check the facts? Does this even make sense? And question 3, the most important one. Where is my voice in this? Is this just generic fluff, or does it have my unique insight? If you can answer those 3 questions, you're golden.
And that really leaves us with one final big question. This whole thing isn't about humans versus machines. It's about how you personally decide to engage with this technology. So you have to ask yourself, are you setting yourself up to be in competition with AI, or are you choosing to be in collaboration with it? The